There's too much snobbery in the pro boxing world. I don't think many pro boxers can come over to this sport.
What did you think of James DeGale when you saw him in action?
I thought he was absolutely pants, to be honest. The performance that he put in, it was hard to watch because that was one of the worst main events I've ever seen in BKFC. No offence, but his opponent was shite.
You start from a boxing background.
Yeah.
How many fights did you have?
So I walked into my first gym at the age of 8 in a cellar under a pub.
Really?
Yeah. I used to play a game called Ready to Rumble on PS1.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy used to lean back, so I'm doing this. And the coach come down and was just like, "Oh, you could be good, you. Where did you learn that from?" I said, "From a computer game." Well, I started in a cellar at the age of 8, and I've been in boxing for 23 years now, and I had 48 amateur fights.
Wow.
So I fought for loads of different gyms. The most famous gym that I boxed for about 5 years in my senior career was Birmingham City, where the Your brothers are from.
Wow.
So me and Galal actually boxed on the same shows as well before Galal went on to the GB squad.
I'm interested in this
Yeah.
because it's just a fascination that I just can't let go of. So we're talking bare-knuckle. You're back in it again.
Yeah.
Too looking to be a bare-knuckle fighter. So again, how long have you been doing this?
Coming into 6 years now.
6
Yeah,
years.
6 years doing bare knuckle.
I up to this day don't think many boxers, traditional boxers, yes, what I'm saying traditional boxers, bare knuckles traditional boxers would actually make that a successful transition into bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah.
Would I be right or wrong in saying that?
I get what you're saying. I feel like the likes of what we've just seen with James DeGale and the higher end boxers who are coming to their end of the career, I don't think they adapt. But I think it's styles. I think if you get a fighter in there who sits on the back foot, who doesn't like to put the pressure on or engage, I don't think you'll get a good bare knuckle fighter. I think it all depends on what the fighter is and what they actually want out of it. I think amateur boxers with that higher paced, fast, do you know what I mean, in and out, in and out, in and out, are perfect for it if they can adapt to the clinching and the fighting. And that's one thing that most boxers can't get over. But I do think it all depends on styles. Like I know there's a couple of boxers now, pro boxers, a lot of friends. I had mentioned before, Conor Walker, who's got a perfect style for bare knuckle, come forward, rough and ready, do you know what I mean? Can he handle the cuts and the bruises and the broken hands? Who knows, you know what I mean? That's for them when they're in there, when they're fighting, to see if they can go through that and if they can weather the storm and come out all right, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it is a fast pace.
Yeah.
Kind of like you were saying about the boxers, it's not 12-3 minutes, it's sometimes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like get in there, get it done, get out. It's fast paced.
I do agree though. Like, I don't think many pro boxers can come over to this sport. I don't think it's the same. You imagine when you've got a pair of, okay, we're looking at 8s and 10 ounces, 10-ounce gloves now. You've got 2.5, 3 inches of foam padding over your knuckle. You've got an 1.5, 2 inches either side. Now to see that punch coming and okay, to slip it here, okay, it's a little bit tougher, but to take them on the gloves and take them on the forearms, it's easy. Anyone can sit on the ropes when they're tired and go, yeah, I'll take this punishment. But who can sit on the ropes and take it bare knuckle?
And let's look at traditionally. I think there's a series on it. There's a second series coming actually, 1,000 Blows. What is it? BBC iPlayer? More from their background, or is it? Yeah, BBC
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix on Netflix, and it's actually it tells the history of the Queensberry.
Yeah.
Of Queensberry, but where it initially started with bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah.
And the resistance between the bare knuckle fighters and obviously Queensberry. So that's why, again, from a boxer, I think going in there, if you want to stand up and box, you've got no chance.
No.
And I'm quite sure there's fighters out there thinking, Nelson, you traitor.
Yeah.
But it's fact.
No, but it's a fact. And there's too many. And I'll touch base. There's too much snobbery in the pro boxing world.
Yeah.
Because I get it all the time. I do. I know there's people in Birmingham now that it's jealousy and it's bitterness, and I've done well for my career and I've come from an amateur background, and certain pro fighters, but he wouldn't have lasted in the pros, and he had to go bare knuckle because he wouldn't have been a good enough pro boxer. And then when another pro boxer comes into it, it's like, oh yeah, but you don't want to fight him because he'd be too good. He was too good in the pros. He was knocking everyone out. But then they go into pro boxing and then they get destroyed.
Yeah.
Bare knuckle, but then they get destroyed. So as an amateur, if you was like coming in through amateur and going in the pros, and you never had a GB record, you never went to the GB squad, like you were sort of like, you worked your way up. Where if you come at the GB squad, you had a Matchroom deal or a Frank Warren deal, do you know what I mean? You went straight on TV and you was And that's what I mean. It's like the snobbery of like with bare knuckle. It's like, but what you've done amateur boxing, or you was a white collar fighter. Like what Fabio Wardley gets now when he gets all that, you know what I mean? That hate.
Yeah,
They don't like it, is
Yeah.
it? Because they don't like that they've had to go through the ranks
Mm-hmm.
of GB and work hard and have the hard fights a pro fighter, and it's like bare knuckle, but that's just boxing. That's just boxing, but it's bare knuckle. Like, oh, we should smash that. Like, we shouldn't be losing to these guys, and these pro boxers are losing to people that have never done a pro boxing fight.
Yeah, it feels like a completely different sport. I mean, say it all the time about different sports, like just because you hit a ball with a bat, cricket and baseball are very different games.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because you're getting punched in the face, they're very different sports. What made you jump into the bare knuckle and out of the boxing?
And this is the famous question everyone asks. I know if I say just to be famous.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
That's my life. Really. So I always said when I was a kid, I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be an actor or something. And I weren't going to be an actor because I never went to drama school. Well, I couldn't be asked. And then I was always a boxer. And when I was a kid, obviously, I grew up in the heydays of watching Joe Kawasaki, Ricky Hatton. Do you know what I mean? And I used to sit there and I'd think, oh, I want to be there in the lights, and I want to be recognised for something. And when I'd finished the amateurs, I had about 500-600 followers on social media, and I couldn't sell a bean for a ticket. So it'd be pointless me going into the pros because you have to work your way up and you have to have a fan base to be able to create a salary in a purse that's worth fighting for. So this bare knuckle tournament, the tournament came out in a traditional sort of Queensbury Rules one for another company, and it was on sounds really weird, it's on Television X pay-per-view.
Oh, wow.
Nice. So I was just like, I'll apply. And applied and sent a couple of clips of my amateur fights, and they give me a shot, and that was it from history then. That was the start of the history. Went in there, peppered some lad for like 3 rounds and absolutely destroyed him, and then I was just like, oh, you know what, I think I'm good at this.
So you see that you've got boxing, you've got MMA, you've got bare knuckle, and you'll find that the ones that go to MMA into boxing, or from MMA or bare knuckle into boxing, they're not successful. But it's never, in my opinion, better the other way around. The boxer goes into MMA usually on the losing side. Boxer goes into bare knuckle usually on the losing side, and so that's why people just don't seem to understand and get into it. But it's a different gravy, man. Yeah, because you haven't got many cuts and bruises on your face.
No, I've got like a nick because to be honest, other than 2 fights, I don't really leave with my face smashed up. I get a couple of nicks on that because I've got really good footwork. So I prize my style, and everybody will say I've got probably got some of the best footwork in the whole of the organisation, because from a kid as an amateur I'd be circling around the ring constantly, and a lot of fighters don't know how to use the IQ in there to use that footwork to create them spaces of rest.
Right.
It's a bare knuckle fight at the end of the day. We want to put on a show for the fans, and when I go in there, I want to smash someone's head in. That's a fact. But I also got to understand that I don't want broken hands, or I don't want unnecessary cuts or take unnecessary shots, because it's bare knuckle. You don't see these shots coming sometimes.
Yeah.
Like they are like a glove fight. When I've been in the amateurs and I've got caught with a left hook and my legs are gone a bit fuzzy, and I think I don't know where that's come from. With bare knuckle, like, you don't see that sometimes. That comes over and it's a mighty bang, and the whole of the body jars.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need to. So like what I've realised now with this system that I've got in place is I go in and I do my work, then I move, and I just keep moving. And they don't like it. A lot of the people I fight, they hate that constantly moving. They're going, the shaking. Come on. They want to fight.
They want to get.
And they set and then boom, 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 and they move again. And that's the way to do it. I think you watched that Paulie Malignaggi fight.
Yeah.
He done that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He worked, but he's not strong enough for that.
No, it's not. And for Paulie, he's got fragile hands.
Yeah,
I was so surprised when he's done like everything in your favour.
Yeah. Literally, he was touching him almost that to 4 or 5 here. Whereas when I'm hitting them quite hard, to be honest, you know what I mean? And I'm cutting them up and dropping them.
I want to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Bet Goodwin, for supporting That Boxing Show. Now, if you're interested in having a little flutter, or as I call it after my dad, Benji's Bets, Bet Goodwin's the place to be. Check out Bet Goodwin using the QR code on the screen. What did you think of James DeGale when you saw him in action?
I thought he was absolutely pants, to be honest. I thought it was pathetic. So,
yeah, go on.
I thought it was pathetic, and I've said this over and over again, because I don't feel like. I think from what I heard of like James and how they offered him the deal of like, you come over and we'll pay you this and this, and I feel like he didn't deserve the main event of what he done. That's not the company's fault, because from as far as I'm concerned, if I was a promoter, I'd think this guy's like, you know what I mean, he's fought Paddy Jack, you know what I mean, he's fought George Groves, Did he fight Eubank Jr.? I don't know. I can't remember any. I think it was in the Super 6 tournament, wasn't it? I'll be looking at James as a package of this guy switches on here. He could be brilliant. And the performance that he put in, it was hard to watch because that was one of the worst main events I've ever seen in BKFC. Yeah. Which is like, it's hard for someone like me who's built their roots in Bare-Knuckle, come straight from Bare-Knuckle, amateur background, yes, but I would never come from a GB squad. I'd never come from like a platform like most pro boxers have come over for like a world title or something. They've built their platform elsewhere. For me to go to main event fights and see people like James get pulled in to put on performances like that, it's a little bit like, well, this is not what people want to see, because people want to see Bare-Knuckle to see a good fight. Do you know what I mean?
And I think the shock for James, and I keep repeating him, when he got hit, it was like in shock. Yeah. Mid-fight, he's looking, thinking, what's going on there? His legs had gone.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, and maybe James was thinking, well, I might not still be able to cut it as a traditional boxer, but I'll be able to cut it here. So he was one that actually had a rude awakening in regards to it.
No offense, but his opponent was shite. Like, these are people that they shouldn't be losing to. But like, again, here comes the snobbery. From the pro boxers, James would smash him. He's terrible. His pants, I seen him fought that Shane Mosley in the exhibition, looked awful. No guard, chin in the air, getting banged left, right, and centre. James should destroy him. Goes in there. James puts on a terrible performance and loses in one of the most sloppiest, horrible fights I've seen in BKFC.
Yeah, crazy. But that was in Manchester, wasn't it?
Yeah, in Manchester.
But you fought in New York.
I fought in New York State in Salamanca. I fought on Wembley Arena, co-main event to Mike Perry versus Mark Fenn and Page. I headlined the BP Pulse at the NAC in June. I headlined Crystal Palace and I headlined the Skydome Arena, Coventry. So because that's the most main events in the UK as a British fighter.
Because you've had a few, you're up there with quite a few. Like we were talking earlier, like you see these bare-knuckle fighters and it's 1-0, 2-0.
That's it. A lot of them are 2-3-0.
What's your record?
Officially had 11 bare-knuckle fights, 9 wins and 2 defeats.
How many stoppages?
I've stopped 4 people in my career, but I think it's harder to get knockouts when you step levels. So my last fight was defending my British title, then winning the British title, then fighting the world title eliminator, then I fought co-main against one of the top 5 in the world at that weight. Like, I fought in a previous company and was a world champion. I was a 2 fights in 1 night prize fighter champion. So I've been at a sort of a level where it's hard to just go in and knock people out because they're just as game as I am. You see a lot of knockouts in bare-knuckles. A lot of the time it's an unknown sport to the person that's getting knocked out.
Is there any money in it?
There is, if you can get to a certain level. I think, to be honest, now, let's be honest, let's rephrase that now. I know there's lads on prelims, on the undercards, that are probably getting more than what some of these lads that are 8-9-0 against journeyman on the small cards of pros. Yeah, that's a fact. I know that, and they're getting paid good money.
So the sport, it needs a star. It needs a star to elevate its exposure.
Yeah, that's what you're here for.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It does need a star. So Mike Perry's the star in America. Everyone knows Mike Perry. You talk about Mike Perry, it's bare-knuckle. I think he lowered his stock when he went and fought Jake Paul and lost because he lost badly. Again, boxing's not bare-knuckle, so we can't just judge it off the fact. But at the end of the day, he's still a star. He come back. He beat Luke Rockhold. He beat Jeremy Stevens recently. They put him in against ex-UFC stars and he prevails, doesn't he? Do you know, when he comes through and he puts on good fights. He's a tough kid. And he's their star. So the UK sort of needs that star now. But I'd like to be that star for the UK off a bare-knuckle background and not from a pro boxing or an MMA.
You kind of are a star as far as the organisation is concerned. The organisation owned by Colin McGregor. And the organisation said, "Get this guy on. You know, this guy's like, he's a champion waiting." And so you understand the kind of pressure, expectation on your shoulders.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think that's a thing as well. Like, my last 3 fights have been main events, so it's like I always say this in when you put this into perspective. When you go to a fight, like an Anthony Joshua fight or a Tyson Fury fight, you know, heavyweights, kind of Ben Eubank, nobody says we're going to the boxing Saturday. Everyone goes, we're going to watch Eubank, Ben. We're going to watch Fury. We're going to watch AJ. So when I'm the main event, that's my perspective. People are going, are you going to the Tierney fight on a Saturday? Are you going to the Tierney fight in New York? That's it. So that's the pressure there, right there. He's the main event. He's the top boy in the UK. He's got to, you know what I mean? He's got to prevail. when I become the biggest ticket seller for the company on my last show. And we had the best atmosphere by far out of all the shows, even better, I think, than the Manchester one previously. I had about 2,000 Blue Noses, Birmingham City fans in there sitting, chanting football songs and stuff. It was crazy, yeah.
So what's the dream? Where to go?
Fighting at St Andrews.
St Andrews.
Tom Brady, beating Tom Wagner, obviously, the owners of the club. Conor McGregor, obviously, Dave Feldman, and being able to defend the world title in St Andrews, which is, we could do 20,000 maybe.
How realistic is that? How soon?
I think that's really realistic. I've already had conversations with the CEO.
Wow.
So I've had conversations. No, let me rephrase that. I've had conversations with people who spoke to the CEO who have seen my clips and asked me to come and have conversations with them. The Americans know all about me now. When I met the owner and I've had the bout on the pitch, they've let me walk out on the pitch with the bout. I think it's really possible.
I've seen this sport grow slowly but surely. It's getting bigger and bigger. When Paulie boxed up in Leeds, and you've got traditional boxers up there watching to be just ringside and watch it. When we've been ourselves and watched it, I'm like, wow, this is a different level.
Oh, yeah.
So you know the excitement's there, even though you're watching it through your fingers.
Yeah.
And so I know it's going to get big, but it just needs that star with a bit of colour, a bit of Conor McGregor about him. Like, it's going to create a bit of interest, love or hate about him. Are you that man?
I'd say, you know, it used to be a Conor McGregor. I feel like I'm trying to go down more because of what we're like the Ricky Hatton wrote of it. I want the fan base. I want the Waynes. Do you know what I mean? I want the fans to constantly, like, you know, he was such a loved character in boxing. When I used to watch him, he was bringing like 20,000 to the MGM and stuff. Like, who'd done that? There's no British fighter that's done that. So I call myself, like, I used to call it the Bare-Knuckle Conor McGregor, but everyone wants that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Listen, I love Conor to bits. I think he's one of the best combat sports, superior by far in the world. There's no one that comes close to him. His marketing ability, the way he promotes, the way he fights, like, he's one of the best in the world ever. You know what I mean? To have ever done it. So for Ricky, when I used to watch him, and the fans used to think, I want that. I want people to go, are you going to Conor fight? Tierney fight? That's going to be the one. That's going to be the one.
I remember Ricky fighting in America, and I had people that were ringing me up saying, "Yeah, Johnny, I'm trying to get a ticket." I'm like, I'm in England. What are you ringing me up for? That's how hard it was to get tickets. It sold the place out. When are you out again?
Well, we're hoping to do the, I'm guessing the end of February, and it will be the biggest one yet. Hopefully, I fight for the actual World Championship, BKFC.
In the UK.
Would that be against?
Against a fighter from the UFC called Julian Lane, who's the current holder. He's absolutely wank. Sorry, I don't have to swear.
Yeah, I've got to click him into this.
So yeah,
give him a message, man. Give him a message down there.
you're absolutely, mate, and your fucking forehead's massive. So,
this is your challenge, baby.
so we had a championship summit press conference in Miami. That when I beat Danny Christie and I defended the title, they called me up and said, "Oh, we want to get you over to the press conference." And he was there just before, a couple of weeks out before his world title fight, and he started mouthing it with me on the thing. I said, "Oh, you know," I said, "I'm tall, dark, handsome, I'm fucking dangerous, and I'm going to take over this division." And he started, "You hate shit. I offered you the fight." And then obviously we went a back and forth, and I just said, "Your forehead's pregnant." You know what I mean? It was massive, and I just said, "I'm going to have to deliver the baby and split it open for you."
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was funny. It went really viral. The clip did, to be fair. And
This is going to go viral.
yeah, so
if
if he won the world title, and I said, if you'd love him to win the world title, because that's the fight I want now.
Yeah.
I've had, when I fought Danny, like, me and Danny were friends, do you know what I mean? Like frenemies, and it was all respect mutual, but I like a little bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
So is there a game plan, or is it?
There's always a picture of me. I just go over there, bang, just take him out, but it's never going to work like that. I think for me now, like my old amateur coaches used to say, just go out and enjoy it and win the fight. Do you know what I mean? And that's doing whatever you have to do. And for me, it's going out there, using my footwork, using my intelligence. I know I'm a better boxer than him, and using the boxing skill, but I've also got that roughness and that clinch work now.
Yeah.
What's his strength and what's his weakness?
His strength is he's strong, and his strong upper body.
He's got a big tough forehead.
He's got a massive forehead. He's got a decent chin, to be fair. You know what I mean? But he hasn't been like completely like shattered by the Birmingham one bomb. Do you know what I mean? So the Brumtown one bomb. So I think his strengths are just coming forward and durable, and he's had some good wins. He beat that. Do you remember Alfredo Angulo?
Yes.
He beat him. Angulo come to BKFC, didn't he? He was another one who was quite wank, to be honest. He came in, his style is made for gloves and wearing you down, and Bare-Knuckle just wasn't for him. And he got the win there. It was a win, but it wasn't a great win. I mean, if I fought Angulo with my style, I would have peppered the head off him and probably stopped him early on, but he sort of let him back into the fight. He blows easy. He's absolutely shite. So, yeah.
Amazing. Well, we're definitely going to try and come watch when we can. Definitely, that'd be amazing.
Connor, an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
We will get there. I want to see this big forehead get split off. Anyway.